So, what could some of the repercussions be if the US strikes Iran? There's three things that I think could happen very quickly if we find ourselves in that situation, which is becoming more and more likely every single day. So, what are those three things? Well, first off, I think one of the most likely things we could see is Iran starting to mine the Strait of Hormuz. They've done this before in the past, and this could be extremely detrimental to the entire global economy because anywhere between 20 and 30% of all crude oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So you can see that if that gets mined and shut down, you bottleneck the entire global supply of crude oil, which makes everything more expensive very quickly. And like I said, they've done this before and they have thousands of mines in their inventory ready to go so they could start doing that at a moment's notice. So be aware of that and be prepared for anything related to oil to get more expensive all of a sudden. I would expect to see a very large price hike in that regard. Now, I do want to mention that Midway USA is the biggest supporter of the channel, and thanks to them, I can keep preparing for things to, unfortunately, get worse in the sense of the global arena. So a big thanks to Midway USA. Now, what's the second thing that I think would happen very quickly after a US strike on Iran? Well, they would likely activate their proxies. And they have a lot of proxies. When I say that, what I mean is think about the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, or any other militant groups that Iran backs and funds. And of course, they can activate them in many ways. In the past, they have used them to damage infrastructure and attack the infrastructure of other Middle Eastern countries, including countries like Saudi Arabia, where that can obviously cause issues around the world when it comes to the economy. And then they also have shown to be willing to attack US embassies as well as other United States targets. And of course, they could attack US embassies, take Americans hostage. There's all kinds of things that they could do in the immediacy after a US strike on Iran. And don't forget, they could easily attack us here on our soil as well. This is something a lot of people don't necessarily consider, but we know that networks like Hezbollah exist here in the United States currently and could be activated at a moment's notice. So you should be prepared for something to happen no matter where you are. They're in Latin America, they're in North America, they're in Europe, they're everywhere. So there's really nothing they can't touch if they decide they want to take that route. And it's highly likely that they would because they've shown a willingness to do it all the way up to this point. So I definitely would expect something like that to happen. Now, the third thing that I think is very likely and also maybe one of the most damaging, even more so than the first two, is something that could hurt us where it really counts, economically and right inside of our own homes. And that would be a massive cyber attack. Now, we all know what massive cyber attacks can do to the banking system and everything else related to our financials. So if you want to try to stabilize some of your wealth through precious metals assets, make sure you check out magicpeppergold.com because Genesis Gold Group is a big supporter of the channel. And of course, they can help you roll retirement accounts over to gold-backed IRAs or send large sums of precious metals right to your front door. Whatever it is you feel you want to do, make sure you talk to them, let them know that Magic Pepper sent you, and hopefully they can help you out. So magicpeppergold.com is a good place to go for that reason. Now, Iran has an extensive cyber warfare capability. They can basically do whatever they want in that realm in the same vein as Russia, China, or any other adversary you can think of, okay? Now here's the thing, keep this in mind. They recently attacked us here on our soil when it came to our water utility systems, and they were specifically targeting the Unitronics systems that were program controllers that could actually cause harm to Americans if that water was to be tampered with. Now, this is a group called Cyber Avengers who are taking responsibility of those types of attacks, but Cyber Avengers are linked directly to Iran, which means they can do this just about anywhere, and who knows with what. And in many ways, based on the attack that we recently saw involving those Unitronics systems, there's a good chance that that might have been more of a demonstration than an actual event. They may have just been demonstrating their capabilities and our security flaws in order to let us know that if something was to happen, they could go much further with it. And that's something that I would definitely expect here if you see a US strike on Iran anytime soon, which I honestly believe is going to happen. So I wanted to bring this to your attention just so you would have something to anticipate in the case that we strike Iran. And when I say that, I mean directly. Striking these proxies at empty warehouse locations or these missile sites where we're taking out 1 or 2 systems at a time doesn't seem to have the desired effect. But if we were to attack Iran within their borders directly, a lot of things could change very quickly. And I wanted to give you something to work with when it came to what your expectations should be as whatever this would cause. And of course, Iran would likely retaliate the same way that we are retaliating to the attack that recently occurred and took the lives of American soldiers. So, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think is most likely to occur? What do you think will most likely affect us here on American soil? And do you think that there's any reason to be concerned about something even larger happening than what I just discussed in this video? Let me know all those things down below. Anything else you need from me at all, go to magicprepper.com. And besides that, it's going to be it for Magic Prepper.